Hello and welcome to First Post Live, where we bring you the day's top stories from across the world. I am Gursheen Garland, live from the First Post studios. Let's begin with the headlines. India's state-run fuel retailers hiked petrol and diesel prices for fourth time in 10 days amid ongoing West Asia war. The fuel rates continue to vary, but the latest revision has increased prices by more than 2 rupee per litre on average. Pope Leo XIV is set to unveil his long-awaited manifesto on artificial intelligence, aiming to address the ethical and social challenges posed by the technology's rapid global expansion. China launches Shenzhou, a 23 spacecraft with 3 astronauts as one of them prepares to spend a year in orbit. Beijing aims to set a new in-space endurance record. Toshifumi Suzuki, the man behind 7-Eleven Japan and widely regarded as the father of Japan's convenience store, dies of heart failure at 93. And the death toll from a building collapse near the Philippine capital Manila has risen to 4. Several people remain missing as rescue operations continue. We begin in India, where a short while ago visiting US Secretary of State Marco Rubio visited Taj Mahal. The top US official was joined by his wife Janet Rubio, and the visuals are hard to miss. With the white marble monument rising behind the Rubios, the couple was seen soaking the grandeur of the 17th century mausoleum. At several points, Rubio appeared to slow down to absorb the view as the monument's distinctive dome and symmetrical gardens provided a dramatic backdrop.
And all the fountains you see, they're all in line outward, slightly tilted, and it is because if any natural calamity occurs, like earthquake.
Hours earlier in New Delhi, President Donald Trump virtually joins American Embassy's event celebrating 250th independence year of the United States. The president described himself as a big fan of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and said India knows who to call if it ever needs help.
And India can count on me 100% and our country. If they ever need help, they know where to call. They call right here. We're doing well. We're setting records. We have a record economy, a record stock market, and anything India wants to get. And I'm a big, big fan of Prime Minister Modi. Marco's the greatest. He's going down as the greatest Secretary of State in the history of the U.S. And it's an honor to talk and say hello to Prime Minister Modi. And let him know I'm a big fan.
Now, India, for its part, made it clear that cooperation does not mean setting aside national priorities. Standing beside Marco Rubio, India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar said that just as the Trump administration speaks of America first, India is guided by an India first approach.
Where the energy issues are concerned, again, look, I want to say, for our energy security, it's important we have multiple sources, large sources, dependable sources, cheap sources. So, the United States, because that was the first question, fits the bill in many respects. So do some other countries. So we will continue to diversify and maintain multiple sources of supply at the most reasonable cost, because at the end of the day, we have an obligation to our people to provide them energy at affordable and accessible rates.
And Rubio himself sought to emphasize the personal chemistry between President Trump and Prime Minister Modi. Rubio said the relationship between the two leaders has been built over years and dismissed instances of racism allegedly directed against Indians.
But the bottom line is that in the modern era, you go online and there are people saying all kinds of crazy stuff online. I don't even know if they're real people or who they are. So, but I didn't know what he was coming from.
I think there's something that was reposted by the president where he was talking about India being quote unquote.
Well, I gave him a chance to tell me that. That's not what he said. The president loves India. He said it last night. Were you guys there when he called in for the event last night, the 250? The president's a big fan of India, a big fan of Prime Minister Modi. I wouldn't be here if the president didn't want me to be here. He cares. He wouldn't have sent someone like Sergio to be our ambassador, someone who's very close to the president. So, but I gave that reporter, a chance to tell me who he was referring to, and he didn't. So I just assumed he's talking just about random voices out there. I mean, people say stupid stuff all the time on social media in every country in the world, unfortunately.
इस पे डिस्काउंट मिलेगा।
डिस्काउंट मिलेगा 50%, also 50% शेयर हमारे प्रॉफिट्स में।
ये तो कैनरा बैंक वाली बात हो गई, जिसके एंजल अकाउंट के साथ मिले एक्सक्लूसिव लाइफस्टाइल ऑफर्स और फ्री पर्सनल एक्सीडेंट इंश्योरेंस जैसे सुपर रिवॉर्ड। तो कैनरा बैंक में अकाउंट
मस्ट है। इस पे डिस्काउंट मिलेगा।
डिस्काउंट मिलेगा 50%, also 50% शेयर हमारे प्रॉफिट्स में।
ये तो कैनरा बैंक वाली बात हो गई, जिसके एंजल अकाउंट के साथ मिले एक्सक्लूसिव लाइफस्टाइल ऑफर्स और फ्री पर्सनल एक्सीडेंट इंश्योरेंस जैसे सुपर रिवॉर्ड। तो कैनरा बैंक में अकाउंट
मस्ट है। So while today's visuals from Agra are dominated by the timeless beauty of the Taj Mahal, the diplomatic message is equally clear. Washington is publicly reaffirming its commitment to India, and New Delhi is asserting its own national interests. Now, for more on this, we have with us Dr. Vivek Mishra, Deputy Director of Strategic Studies Program at Observers Research Foundation. He's joining us live from New Delhi. Good afternoon, Dr. Mishra. Beginning with the U.S. Secretary of State. Now, Marco Rubio has repeatedly highlighted the personal rapport between President Trump and Prime Minister Modi. Beyond the chemistry between the leaders, what concrete gains is India seeking from the phase of India-U.S. relations?
I think there is, the whole visit has been very, very fruitful in the sense that it papers over some of the differences that India and the US have had in recent times. It is closing a loop on the speculation on whether the Quad meeting would happen or not. I think it's an important development in that respect. Plus, I think there are the energy bit. There is the energy bit. There's the critical minerals. India became a member of Pact Silica, and attains an impact, comes and follows after the meeting between US and China in terms of how that relationship itself could realign some of the supply chains in the Indo-Pacific. So I think from all those respects, it's a timely visit. And it, from the press conference, it appears that the two sides have achieved agreement on certain important issues.
Right. And you see, energy security was a major theme in Dr. Jaishankar's remarks. What is your reading of India's priorities in that sector?
I think energy is something that has come up very strongly in the context of the United States' approach to the world, and that's not specific to India, because the US has emerged as one of the largest exporters of energy. And the global crisis has presented itself with an opportunity where it can do that. Where the Strait of Hormuz is closed, it can, and once it opens, the United States actually targets the Indo-Pacific as one of the largest recipients of energy. Now, remember that China's own energy has been hurt, given what's happened in Venezuela, given what's happened in Iran. In between, of course, the United States the world presents an opportunity for the U.S., which is now one of the largest producers of energy. So from that respect, if it can offer a affordable, cheap, reasonable energy supply, predictable energy supply to India, then as a rational buyer and one of the largest energy buyers of the world, I think India shouldn't have problems buying energy from the U.S.
Dr. Mishra, thank you for sharing your insights with First Post. The annual Hajj pilgrimage begins today in Saudi Arabia, with around 1.5 million pilgrims expected to gather in the holy city of Mecca over the next 5 days. This year's pilgrimage is taking place amid heightened regional tensions linked to the ongoing Iran conflict, prompting one of Saudi Arabia's largest security operations in recent years. Saudi authorities say preparations for Hajj season have been completed. Officials say the arrangements were carried out through a large operational plan involving military, civilian and medical personnel. Ahead of the pilgrimage, Saudi Arabia deployed advanced air defense systems across Mecca, Medina and nearby holy sites. Specialized military units and emergency response teams have also been deployed.
Within the integrated readiness system of Ministry of Defense, Air defense forces are tasked with protecting the airspace over the sacred sites and addressing all aerial threats, thereby ensuring the security of the guests of the merciful and their peace of mind.
Saudi Arabia's Interior Ministry also held a large-scale Hajj security parade before the pilgrimage began. The exercises involved special police forces, border guards and civil defense teams. Helicopters and rapid response units also carried out emergency and counter-terror simulations.
There is also a support plan for the security sectors, as well as the enforcement of Hajj-related regulations and instructions concerning violators transporting pilgrims. Administrative quasi-judicial committees are deployed at 4 locations on the entrances to Mecca, including Al-Tanim, Al-Bahita, Al-Shumaisi, and Al-Khur centers.
வாஸ்கோ டிஸ்கவர் பண்ணது ஒரு புது வழியே. ஆனா வீட்டுக்கு போற வழியில வர்ஷா டிஸ்கவர் பண்ணது ஒரு புது டே லிஸ்ட். அவங்க டேக்கு ஏத்த மாதிரி ஒரு பிளேலிஸ்ட் அப்டேட் ஆயிடுச்சு. So Spotify போங்க டிஸ்கவர் பண்ணுங்க.
The Hajj is one of the largest annual religious gatherings in the world. Every year, millions of Muslims travel to Mecca and Saudi Arabia for the pilgrimage. For Muslims, Hajj is considered a religious obligation. Believers are expected to perform it at least once in their lifetime, if physically and financially able. Over the past 3 years, annual attendance has ranged between 1.7 and 1.8 million worshippers.
Now, I know with the situation with the war, I was very anxious about it. I was worried about the flight because my flight actually stopped off at Amman, which was bordering that area. So it was a little bit dangerous. But Alhamdulillah, I knew the flight was going ahead. I was like, Bismillah, it's written for me. I will go. Allah knows best, you know.
Now, historians say the pilgrimage has only been cancelled or heavily restricted around 40 times in more than 14 centuries. The most recent restriction came during the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. Managing the Hajj is also a massive logistical operation. Saudi authorities oversee crowd control, security, transport and accommodation during the pilgrimage. Medical care and heat management also remains major challenges as millions gather in one place.
You know, you feel quite safe, especially here in Saudi Arabia. The past few weeks have been pretty quiet in the region, without too much turbulence. I think the Saudi government has done a great job also at making sure that the country is safe and stable and that it's not drawn into the conflict in unforeseen ways. So I feel safe.
This year's Hajj is also taking place amid an active regional conflict for the first time in Saudi Arabia. The ongoing tensions have involved direct threats to Saudi territory. Recent missile and drone attacks linked to the Iran conflict have also raised security concerns during the pilgrimage season, as oil facilities and critical infrastructure in the Gulf region have also faced threats recently amid escalating regional tensions. Several countries have earlier issued travel advisories. These include the United States, Germany and the United Kingdom. However, officials and Muslim organizations say most pilgrims have continued with their travel plans despite the conflict. As millions of pilgrims gather in Mecca for one of Islam's holiest rituals, Saudi Arabia is balancing the enormous logistical challenge of the Hajj with heightened regional security concerns linked to the ongoing Iran conflict. Keeping our focus on the latest from West Asia, a new report is claiming to have uncovered what appears to be a secret supply route that helped Iran acquire advanced satellite equipment through a company based out of the UAE. The report is significant because it suggests that despite years of Western sanctions, Iran's Revolutionary Guards are still able to access sensitive technology through commercial networks in the Gulf. The revelations are also likely to draw attention, given that the UAE has come under Iranian retaliatory actions in response to the recent US-Israeli attacks. The findings in the report are based on leaked contracts, shipping records and satellite imagery. It says that Iranian guards purchased the satellite equipment in late 2025 through a UAE-based company located in the Emirate of Ras Al Khaimah, which is over a 100-kilometer north of Dubai. The shipment included a large Chinese-made satellite antenna and related communications equipment, technology that can improve long-distance military communications and support drone operations. The report says that the equipment left Shanghai in August and was shipped to Dubai's Jebel Ali port before being transferred to an Iranian vessel bound for Iran. But the route taken by that shipment is now drawing as much attention as the equipment itself. As per the shipping tracking data, the Iranian ship broadcast false location information during its voyage. In other words, the vessel appeared to be reporting one position while actually sailing elsewhere. The ship finally reached Iran's Shahid Raja'i port in Bandar Abbas, the same destination listed in shipping documents. The cargo, weighing nearly 2 tons, was officially described in customs paperwork as antenna and accessories. The investigation also traces to which
CRY, Child Rights in You, is an Indian NGO that for 40 years has worked for the rights of all underprivileged Indian children. CRY is adopting strategies like ensuring that the children and their parents find education as important, ensure that they are equipped with a set of life skills and other skills